So I go bum rush through all the guys. I'm like, didn't I tell you I ain't want no cacarena? He looking, the older guy looking crazy like, what? What is going on, everybody? It's your boy URBEN CURRSE. I want to welcome you back to UNDI TV, where everything is undiluted all the time. Guys, if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and also hit that like button, go ahead and do that now. If you are returning back to the channel, I want to thank you for coming back and listen to these crazy stories, because I got more on the way. So guys, by the title of this video, you already see that this is about to be another crazy one. If you watched the last video, you know about me getting fired from the job that I was working for, beating up my coworker. If you want to go back to that video, go ahead. I recommend you go and watch that video first, and then come back and watch this video, or watch this video and then go back, however you want to do it. So I just got fired from a really good job that I was working. It was a glass ceiling, but it was a really good job. I was making good money for the age that I was, and there were a lot of benefits. I just didn't take advantage of it. However, so I had a friend that I met at this job. We started to hang out on a regular basis. Like, she's a best friend to me now. She's a sister to me. One day I get a phone call from her, and she's saying, hey,
you got your passport, right? And I'm like,
yeah, I got my passport. She said,
you wanna go somewhere with me?
I'm like, okay, where we going?
She said, don't worry about that. Do you wanna go?
Okay, cool. I ain't got nothing going on right now. I guess I could go with you. She like,
alright, cool. Let me call you right back.
So she calls me back in a few minutes. She said,
meet me at the airport on such and such a day at such and such a time.
So again, I say to her, I say, where we going?
Don't worry about that. Just meet me there.
So the day come for the trip. Now, like I said, at this time, I'm broke. Like, I think I had altogether to my name, I think I may have like $600 to my name or something like that. After like paying my bills and all that stuff, I was broke. So I'm trying to figure out how can I maneuver to even go on a trip like this. Thing I needed clothes. So I want to finesse it somehow to get the clothes to go on this trip. I get to the airport that day. I go to the counter. I'm like, hey, I got a ticket waiting for me. I don't know where I'm going. I know it sounds crazy, but can you let me know what's going on? So get my ID and everything. She looks at it.
Mr. Curse, you're going to Cancun, Mexico.
Cancun, here I come. Never been to Mexico before, never been to Cancun. When I say I like damn near jumped through my shirt, like I was just like, oh, we going to Mexico, huh? Now mind you, this wasn't no short time. This was like a good 7 days we're staying in Mexico. So go through TSA, meet up with my homegirl.
You know, she's like, oh, I know it's gonna surprise you now.
I want to thank her a lot for that, because I was going through a lot mentally. She pretty much saved me from doing something crazy. Not maybe crazy, but something that I would, you know, my family would have been. Y'all know where I'm coming from, because I was in a very dark space at that time. She decided to just take me on a trip, you know, and that's just not a cheap trip to take someone on, because it was all inclusive except for dinner. So we're gonna get to that part. So we get to Mexico, and the resort is beautiful. We stayed at Temptation Resort. I may be able to put some pictures, maybe or so, or maybe a video or so. I might be able to, I might have some. If I do, I'd put it on. If I don't, you know, you could go ahead and go look up Temptation Resort. So we get there. Temptation Resort is a topless resort. I think at the time I was 24. I had to be 24. No, 25. I was 25 because she wanted to take me to a nude resort, because anybody know I'm a Scorpio. Hey, listen, I like to be naked. Call it whatever you want to call it. That's me. And when I tell you, this room was amazing. Like, so we settled in. We wound up hitting the strip and everything, and just walking up and down, and then, you know, wound up getting scooters and all that. And so one day we decided we want to walk on the beach and just keep walking till we can't walk anymore. We're walking for a good 10 minutes at this time, maybe 15 minutes. So we start approaching a little shack. So we get to the shack. There's a guy out there, or a couple guys out there. It's an older guy, and the older guy comes to me. He has a box. So the box is about that big. So compared to this phone, is like a nice cigar box. So when you look at it, it's cigars in the box. However, there's cocaine, and then there's marijuana. So you understand? There's cocaine, marijuana. Okay. So he's saying cigars, 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 and he's like pushing the box towards you, like, hey, check out my cigars. But he talking about the cocaine and the marijuana. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking past. He said,
you want some cigars?
So I look at him, I'm like, I definitely do want some cigars. Now, I've never taken no cocaine in my nose ever in my life. Okay, it just never. I never did the cocaine. It's just not my thing. To you each his own, but not me. So I'm like, no, I want the mare. So he like,
okay, you want motas? You want motas?
I'm like, yeah, I want motas. So he sends one of the young guys to go get it. Now, mind you, I didn't walk around with cash on me unless I knew for a fact, like, I was going to go get like a souvenir, and then I didn't have that much cash to be walking around with anyway because, you know, your boy was a little broke at the time, you know, he just lost his job and everything. Thank God for my homegirl. So I said, all right, check this. Let me run back to the room real quick and I'll be right back. So like I said, we about a good 10-15 minutes down the way from where the beach is, but we wound up getting back quicker and wound up walking back here. I guess because we was just walking a little fast. Go back to the room, go get the money. Now on the way to go get the money, the little young guy that he sent had like this crazy glow. Like I'll never forget. He's this little short little Mexican little kid, and he had like, you know, the braces, but it wasn't all the braces. Like it was some of them broken off and like the full bar type of thing. It was just weird. He looks like he was just zooted out of his mind. So he runs past me as I'm going to go get the money. So when I come back, I grab the bag from the guy and I give him the money. So the bag was probably about, you know, about that big or whatever case may be. So what I did was I just cuffed the bag, like, you know, if you copy something, you cuff the bag, and I start looking. I'm like, I didn't even like look. I just glanced at it, be like, and I start feeling it to say, oh, okay, that's enough. And I put it right in my pocket. And I'm like, all right, good looking. Dap him up. Start walking back towards the hotel. So as I'm walking towards the hotel, we get closer to our room. So being that we get closer to the room, I'm like, all right, let me just take it out real quick and just look and see what it is. I take the bag out, and as soon as I take the bag and I look, like, it just took me a millisecond. Is this not? This cocaína in my marijuana. It's flakes of the white stuff in the Maddie. So my homegirl was walking in front of me, and this place didn't have any elevators or something. It's all steps. I think it was like only 3 floors. It was even 2 or 3 floors at the time, but we was on like a 2nd floor. So I literally just runs past her, and I start running up the steps. She looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what's wrong with you, Curse? What's wrong with you? Run up the steps, hit the key, open the door. Like I'm like the SWAT team at this time. I'm just bum rushing through. Boom, 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 boom. I take the bag and I go in the counter and I dump it out, and I'm looking. Now mind you, she doesn't smoke. She never smoked. But I'm like, hey, come here. She comes and I'm like, yo, what are you seeing here? And I just walk off. Like, you know how you walk off, you just like, oh. I did one of them numbers like, oh, hell no, what you see in this? And she like, oh, I see white stuff. I was like, yo, these they trying to poison me. Ooh, this and the third. I'm like, I'm heated. Man, I take the bag and I scoop it back into what you call it. I flew out of the damn room. Like, she looking at me like, she started yelling, no, don't go back there, don't go back there. I'm like, this, I'm gonna go back because he tried to poison me or whatever. I told him I ain't want none of the cacarana. I don't want the cacarana. I didn't want it. Man, I'm literally, mind you, I told you, it take 10 to 15 minutes to get down to where he was. I get down there in probably 2 minutes. I'm flying. I used to run track. I'm flying down the beach, man. Full sprint down the beach. Finally get closer. The shack is closed. So now I'm even more pissed. I'm like, yo, they tried to poison me and then tried to close the shop. So what I do, of course, I go back to the room. I'm so mad. I'm in the room. Now, mind you, I want to smoke. I'm everything. I'm real pissed at this time. And the next day, I say, yo, let me go back down there and see if they down there. You know, the shack was closed again. Go back the next day. This time they down there. However, this is probably the most stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. In a foreign country, I don't speak the language. My homegirl only speak the language. She spoke it poquito. So there's about, I'm not exaggerating. There's about a good 30 guys standing around the shack. Before it was just 5 guys that day. When I say I bum rushed through everybody, like, I don't know what my mindset was at that age. It was just like, I just did not give a damn. If you tried me, I was going to make sure you feel the wrath. And this is my life we're talking about. I could have smoked this and could have ended up in the ocean somewhere, drowning somewhere, and wouldn't even know if I wasn't smart, if my mother didn't teach me when I was younger to say, hey, you don't buy from ba, you don't do this, you don't do that, if it looks like that, if it boom, 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 don't do that. Because at the point, it got to a point where she just knew I was gonna smoke, so she's just like, look, let me teach you the ins and outs, so what's going on here, whatever case may be. So I go, bum rush through all the guys. I'm like, didn't I tell you I ain't want no cacarena? He looking, the older guy looking crazy like, what? I don't know if he didn't notice me or if he just like, or whatever, but then he was like, no, I didn't give you that, I said, yo, it's good in the bag, what you talking about? He like, all right, Papa, just go ahead. He said, bring it back to me, I got you, man, I'm gonna give you more, woo. Now, mind you, I don't even, at this point, I'm like, do I even want any more from this guy? Because they already done tried me, but then I started thinking, it's not him, it's actually the young guy, but the young guy is so zooted, he probably took one of the bags that had the cacarana in it and put the maradadana in it and just threw that in there and not even caring, hey, there's flakes in here. All it takes is a few flakes of whatever or a little bit of dust to take you on to a whole nother edge. I ain't never smoked dirties and I don't want to smoke dirties. That's the other stuff. I never did that. So I go back to the room, go grab it, bring it back to him. He wound up giving me a whole big old sack. Like, I check everything right there in front of him. He like apologized. He like, yo, he said, man, I'm so sorry, man. The guy that I sent, man, I didn't mean that, man. Like, he was genuinely apologizing. However, I could have got my head knocked off in Mexico. I could have been on the cartel video that y'all be saying. They be like, he's going to die today, bam, and they just chop my head off because of some damn I want to smoke or whatever the case may be. But the moral of the story is watch what you do, especially in another foreign country. Always be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of what you're purchasing from someone. Always be very clear and upfront with someone and say, hey, I don't do this because I told him that. So I don't do this, but I do that. And also just know that everybody doesn't have your best interests at heart. So whatever you do in life, just be mindful that this is your life and you have control over your life, and you don't have to participate in things all the time. Sometimes you may have to just take a hiatus and say, you know what, I'm not gonna smoke this time. I'm just gonna leave this alone and leave this at home, and when I get back home, I'll indulge in whatever I indulge in. This also goes with liquor and everything. When you're in club, don't have everybody pouring your drinks. If you're in parties, don't have everybody, you know, just wash your cup. If your cup is just sitting there and I don't care if you just put a paper towel over it, that's not enough. You get what I'm saying? So always be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of what people are capable of doing to you, because they may be careless and you may care for your life, and then all of a sudden you jumping off of a cliff somewhere because somebody wanted to poison you because they weren't paying attention and you weren't paying attention. So thank y'all for sitting through another crazy video. If you guys have not yet liked, comment, subscribe on this video, go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and watch my other crazy story times, because like I said, I got more coming. Yeah. It's your boy, URBEN CURRSE. Boy.
Been a minute since I spit, huh? Had to remind you niggas in case you forget, huh? No fancy chains and no diamonds on my wrist, huh? Still spitting flames, get that sprinkler system fixed, huh? 20s on my shit box, pull up to your bitch spot.